Right, so it's about 6:30 in the morning now. I'm running a bit late. The tide turned about 5:30, so but I still should have time to get out to the anchorage this morning. Get there about midday, I reckon. It's still dark. It's still dark, which is a bit of a sign that I need to get a hurry up and move south. So anyway, the anchor's up, all the instruments and the lights are on, and I'm just going to tootle along and do a bit of pilotage and head towards the entrance into Brest. Should take about all morning basically, but it'll be light in about an hour, I think, so that's not too bad. Hi, I've had a bit of I set off at dawn. I've had a bit of a trundle through Brest Harbour, and I'm just coming up to Brest itself. That's where I've come from, down there, down that way. Well, it's 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock in the morning. There's Brest over there. And then I'm just holding my course now until I clear that point there, and then I can turn and run down the gully out of Brest Harbour to where I anchored on the second night in France, Anse de Berthemeue, I think it's called. I'm so shit at French names. We're currently making about 3 knots because we're under this sort of very pleasant, nice weather. We've been doing 4.8 knots because periodically we slip underneath the edge of this bank of clouds. Yeah, and the wind increases significantly. Well, not significantly, it goes up about 5 or 6 knots, so it's even under the cloud, it's not that bad. We've had one threatened to rain for about 5 minutes, and then it gave up. So basically, I'm moving in the same direction as. No, that bank of cloud is kind of coming across like this, and then I'm moving kind of with it. It's kind of going that way and that way, so it's kind of doing, I don't know, it doesn't really doing that, and I'm going this way, so it's always there on the edge. So I've been sometimes under the edge of it, sometimes under the blue skies the whole way since I left this morning. But effectively it's kind of moving at the same speed as I am. So what happens is I slow down to about 3 knots, and then that bank of cloud catches up, and then I speed up to 5 knots and I shoot out from underneath it again, and we repeat the whole process. But as it's not rough, it's not raining, and I've completed most of the journey already. The last bit now this is the last bit. Once I clear this point here, and I'm running down the gully, I'm within 4 or 5 miles of the anchorage. So this is the best part of the journey done. It's all been very pleasant. Yeah, we haven't once or twice touched 5 knots, but most of the journey has been done between sort of 3.8, 4.8 knots, probably about 4.2 average over the whole journey. But it kind of gets you. Well, I'm not going far. The whole journey is less than 20 miles, so that'll do. I've kind of all 4 journeys of less than 20 miles, but yeah, so far so good. I'm sure that once I get anchored up, then obviously that bank of cloud will pass over and it'll start raining probably, but hey ho, I won't really care that much then. I'll be anchored up. So yeah, all good stuff. And then I need to have a check of the fuel filter to see if there's any water in the water catchment thing. And I think I'll change the other fuel filter, the second fuel filter, as well, because I'm still a bit worried about that engine. I've had the engine on tick over, running the water maker, and there still is smoke, but it's not that bad. But it is a bit of a worry because it's a brand spanking new engine. It shouldn't be smoking at all. So yeah. French battleship, or something coming. Don't even think it could be anything. I don't know what that is. French naval ship coming in. We're just clearing the point I was on about. The wind has dropped almost to the point of no steering. It's very sluggish steering now. So effectively, we're pretty much drifting. 2.6. We've got no wind. I'm doing 2.5, 2.6 knots. Well, okay. Basically, this is the gully de Brest. So, when I came in here, we were crashing along at night on 25 knots of wind, and down through there. At the narrowest point, which is here, actually, it's about only a mile wide. So I need to make about half a mile further out, I think, and we'll just be swept along by the tide, basically, in the right direction. I probably don't even need to make that much. Currently, I'm under a high pressure bit of weather, which is these lovely little fluffy clouds, but there's no wind in it. And then, as I said earlier on, I've been just on the edge of this low pressure bit now. Oh, it seems to be catching me up, so maybe we'll get a bit of wind now in a bit. Okay, this is a new one on me. I've clearly, as you can see, there's nothing in the sail at all. Move the sail over to the other side because the other guys seem to have their set on the other side. It's made no difference whatsoever. Oh no, so I'm going to roll the sail up and motor through. However, I'm actually going quite fast. Don't know if you can. I'm not sure if that shows up. But I'm doing 4.3 knots. Basically, I'm drifting at 4.3 knots. At the moment, I've got no steering at all. It's fine. There's nothing around. There's no big ships coming or anything. Although this is obviously I can't do this for very long. So basically, I'm going to roll the sail away and just motor through here. I've got to have steering through here if anything comes along. So, but yeah, 4.5 knots. 4.5 knots, no wind whatsoever. So the tide is taking me out, drifting me out to sea through the Gulf gully de Brest at like 4.5 knots. Right, so I've put the engine on. It's just a little bit over tick over 1,500 revs, and we're making 7 knots. It floats up and down between 6.6 and 7 knots. So that's 6.8 at the minute. 7.2, 6.8. Yeah. So that just goes to show sort of what sort of tide is coming through here. I wouldn't want to try in a little boat like this with a little engine like this to try and come through this, especially this narrowest bit here where it's only a mile wide, against a full outgoing tide. I don't think you'd get through. No, I don't think. Well, you might get through, but you'd spend hours and hours and hours going 1 mile an hour, 1 knot. I think, but no, it wouldn't be great fun at all. So it's important to get your tide, get to this point so you've got the tide with you to get through here. So I'm glad that's worked out for me today, because that was the plan today. I've actually got an hour and 40 minutes of outgoing tide left, which is plenty at 7 knots anyway if I'm doing 7 knots through here. I'll be through here in no time at all, and at the anchorage I'll be at the anchorage within an hour, I would have thought, which is actually, but yeah. So the whole trip has taken me an hour less or will have taken me an hour less than I thought. So yeah, all in all, not an unpleasant day. I suppose I'm about halfway through now. There's this, I've forgotten the name of this thing, there's this lighthouse type thing here, but I need to give this a bit of a wide berth, because I can see the breakers on it, and actually I need to steer almost at right angles at it. I'm getting very close to it. I don't know if you can see, but there are breakers at the foot of it. It's built on some rock. I need that to starboard. The guy in front of me with the sail up has done the same thing. He's come along too close. And I had to turn almost at a right angle, because obviously we've got this really big tide running, and it's pushing you towards that at 4.5 knots. And even though you've pointed the boat to pass it, or you think you've pointed the boat to pass it, you're moving towards it faster than you are moving out away from it. So yeah. See, that's me not really paying attention. I was just saying as well about how strong this bloody tide is. Yeah, that's closer than I wanted to come. Definitely. Silly arse. That little yellow dot down there is chancing his arm a bit and passing on the other side over the up, but he's having a rough time with it. He's over the overfalls there. That did actually catch me out. That very... Ooh, oh hello. That very much did catch me out a little bit. I mean, I'm sitting there watching it. I was actually aiming for it. You know, I'm heading in this direction, and then I aimed off of it because I knew I wanted to pass. I needed to pass that with that to my starboard side. So I aimed off quite significantly out towards the middle of the channel, and then I'm just sat there. I'm like, that's getting close really rapidly. And it's the angle isn't changing at all. So, and then it dawned on me that the speed of the tide is actually pushing me towards it faster than I can pull myself away from it. So, and then I had to turn at almost pretty much a complete right angle to it to be able to pass it at all. If I'd have left that any later at all, I would have actually had to turn back the way I came to be able to get any distance away from it. So that's a bit stupid on my part, really. I've missed that. I mean, it's not like I wasn't aware that the tide runs through here so quickly. Anyway, right, I cocked that up. Fuck. That's a west cardinal, so I need to pass that. That needs to be on my starboard side. Okay. And then that's the anchorage. Over there, where the parasol is and everything. Would you believe it? I've got a little bit of wind. Literally, I've just passed that cardinal, and then yeah, I suppose we're getting out to sea a bit, aren't we? So we're kind of leaving the land behind. Maybe the land was blocking the wind a bit. Anyway, I've got about 7 knots of wind at the moment. Just slightly after the beam, but it's taking me where I want to go, towards that castle. If those fucking people would shut up on the radio. But this is quite pleasant. I don't care if I spend 2 or 3 hours doing this. quite happily sit here for a little bit longer, doing a bit of this, drinking tea. There's barely any swell on the water, a faint breeze. It's just really nice. Yeah, apart from that yellow bow has decided to tack out in front of me now. Bastard. Okay, that's me into the Anse de Berthemeue. I've got the anchor down. I'm right on the edge of the mooring field, much closer than I was last time. I'm still in like 8 meters of water at low tide. So, but I've put 60 meters of chain down. So, what's that work out at? 40 meters for times 5 is 40, isn't it? So I should have enough scope down for... Oh no, this is low tide. Right, I'm going to have to keep an eye on that, I think. I think I'll set the anchor drag alarm tonight. But in 6 hours time, I mean it's 12 o'clock now, so at 6 o'clock tonight I'll just see how much water we've got. So, and if necessary, I can go in here and pick up one of these mooring buoys. Although I anchored further out last time, I know I was alright. Anyway, this is the Anse de Berthemeue. I was here before. It's a really busy place. It's like a seaside kind of sailing and water sports destination or training area. You've got the little kids there with the little dinghies. And it's quite noisy with the jet skis and everything. I think nothing to moan about really. It's fine. It's actually a really nice place. There's a really nice beach over here. Not too many people on it. And there's a landing pontoon there, concrete one, where you can take the dinghy in. And then I think I looked on Google, and basically there's a road behind that beach that takes you into the town. It's about a mile into where the shops are. So, yeah, basically it's all quite pleasant, isn't it, really? And at some point those jet skis will fuck off. But during the day they're not a bother.